Hi guys, I'm Brittany.
I'm Jenn, and we are the Village Homeschoolers. And today we are doing an interview of each other.
Yeah.
About things we find surprising about our job.
Hi guys, welcome to the Village. I am in the hot seat today. This is Brittany, and we were discussing what's an easy summer podcast idea to do. And I said we should interview each other.
Yeah.
But
it's surprising about being a leader.
Yeah,
some
and
other questions
and all this other stuff. I did go a little off topic when we get to Jenn, but we're going to start with me today, and Jenn's going to interview me. I have not seen aggressively folded them at me, so I have no idea what I.
Well, now I'm like, oh, I went on topic and she went off topic.
Well, don't worry, I'll get us off topic. You know me. So I'm going to sit back, gird my loins, and get ready. Here we go. Hit it, Jenn.
Okay, Brittany.
I better take a little drink, a little coffee before we get going. All right, here we go.
Hold on. All right, Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you do well as a leader?
Oh, well, I am very organized.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that is something I do well or that just annoys the crud out of most people that have to deal with me. Yeah, I am very organized. So I think I have struggled to turn that off, and my attention to timeliness and details gets us. I mean, I think it keeps us on task, but I also think sometimes people are like, you need to shut up.
You know what I think you're good at, right?
Yeah. No, I don't. And I'm saying that's a good thing. You need a taskmaster around. And I'm willing to be the taskmaster. Well, I will say this. In another area of my life where it also involves something I do for my children, there are certain people who do not love that about me. I think that's why I do not love that about me. I think that's why I say that.
Your husband and children?
No. No. I mean, my husband probably doesn't love it, but he just rolls his eyes and moves on. I think he's just used to it. In one of my kids' activities, when I work with supporting that program, and I am like, here's the rules, here's what we're doing, here's the deadlines, here's how we do this, blah, blah, blah. Everybody get on the same page. There's a lot of eye rolls, and who cares if my kid's not in the right colored tights?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, the dance teacher cares.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to protect you when she yells at you.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, there's a constant. Let me see how many times I can remind you when a deadline is.
Well, my second question was, what are you terrible at? But you kind of answered question number one with what you're good at, with what you're terrible at.
Well, I have other things I'm terrible at too.
So what are they?
Here we go. There's a lot to unpack here. I am not always the most empathetic person. I am an empath. Like, I feel a lot of people's things.
Yeah, you give me a lot of excuses when I have bad behavior.
Well, clearly I need to rein Jenn in. No, I do try to look for people's, why they're doing that. But, I still get personally annoyed when I'm like, I understand that you had a baby, but the deadline was the deadline. And then
when I gave you a deadline, I actually meant a week ago.
Yeah, I have to remind myself that, listen, not everybody's like you. Not everybody gets anxiety about these things like you do. Rein it in, Brittany. So there's a little bit of that. The other thing I struggle with is I sometimes can take it personally when somebody
What leaves co-op?
No. Well, it depends on the situation. When somebody, I think, doesn't see the full picture, which isn't their job. That's really a bad thing. But so our job is to see the full picture and to manage all 102 kids in our co-op. Mm-hmm. To manage all 102 kids in our co-op. Mm-hmm. The parent's job that may be unhappy is to manage their 1 to 6 kids in our co-op. And so they're coming in and being like, this isn't working. And I'm like, it's working for 95 kids.
Yeah.
It's working for the majority. And I take it personally that it's not working for them. And sometimes I just beat myself up over it. Sometimes I can get defensive depending on what it is, especially if they're being critical of other people. I'm like, you know, like I've said on the podcast, don't take it personally. You're not for everybody. Your group's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But I still don't do a great job of that sometimes.
All right. What do you think I think you're terrible at?
Oh gosh, Jen. I don't know. Let me think about this. Well, let me think about this. Well, you're a very nice friend because I haven't ever thought that.
Because it's nothing.
No, no. I think, no, I do think you think I get wrapped around the axle about certain things too much.
Yeah, but I don't care.
I know you don't care because you're my friend, but you
Can
definitely.
I?
Well,
Which is why we have hour-long conversations on the phone.
Yeah. Last week we had 2. One was for me, one was for Jen. It's really funny. Like, that's true. We do tell each other to let things go because it's different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So totally unrelated question.
Uh-huh.
Do you think being an absolute control freak is a good supporting skill for being a leader?
Years earlier than I would have. Yeah. No, it's not personally a good skill. It gets the job. It does get the job done, but it's not, I don't think it's long-term. So I was actually saying this to my husband last night. I was like, we have new leaders who have joined us that were the job. It does get the job done, but it's not, I don't think it's long-term. So I was actually saying this to my husband last night. I was like, we have new leaders who have joined us that we're kind of teaching, and eventually we will have to not do this anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, someday, right?
Yeah. And I said it can't revolve around me or Jen or our other leader forever. If we're the ones holding this up and we're the reason it functions, that's not good.
Yeah.
It's good right now, but it's not good long term because
Exactly. We can't be here forever.
Yeah, I'm not dying at 85 doing morning aerobics with the homeschool co-op. Yeah. So it has to function without the people who are in charge of it, and not tomorrow, but it has to. And so I think that's where the control freak is bad.
Yeah. And a lot of times people forget that there are 3 leaders because you're usually the communications person. So people are like always texting you, and I'm not that person. People will still be texting you
Dude, I have nightmares about that.
Yeah.
Like literally I'm like, what if somebody doesn't send that email out? Like in 15 years, I'm going to be like, I don't know who you are, person leading the co-op I used to lead, but I'm going to need you to send the email to the waiting list by July 25th.
Yeah.
That was the deadline.
Yeah.
It's still on my Google Calendar. Yeah. It's still on my Google Calendar. Yeah. I think that is why it's not good long-term, and I'm working on it. I've said a lot recently. I don't know. Go ask blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. It's just fantastic.
I'm proud of myself. It was totally like taking a bullet. And sometimes I can't help myself.
It's hard,
But
I have issues as well. It's part of running the co-op.
I am somebody who I am a talker. So like if we're going to go sit at the river tomorrow and hang out with our friends and we'll talk and I'll bond, but I get better relationships through working. Mm-hmm. So like relationships through working. Mm-hmm. So like building, working, doing these things together, like doing co-op, doing podcasts with you, those kinds of things, like that forms relationships for me. And so that I think is the best thing because it helps me feel connected to the other adults I'm working with. It's like sports, right? Like go team.
Camaraderie, right?
Yeah. Like we're all in this together, and, we win or lose. There's no winning or losing, but like we're successful as a group. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm doing things with other people, that's the best thing. So I relate because I get to know somebody on a personal level.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh, that person. Well, I've said this before. When I met you, I was like, oh, she doesn't really want to hang out with anybody. I really didn't think.
It's my face.
No, I really didn't think Jen wanted to, like, I just didn't think you weren't mean. You weren't even rude. You were just not what I read as uninterested in a friendship, which was not true.
Yeah. I'm really shy, shockingly.
Yeah, you're just reserved. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't think anything of it until we did start working through things and working together. And I was like, oh,
I do want to be your friend.
She does want to be my friend. She is, yeah. So I think that's good. It gives you, I like to get to know somebody. And I feel like when you work with someone, you get to know them.
And we know each other way too much.
Yeah, we'll get it, like literally we'll get an email to the co-op email and be like, you okay over there? Deep breathing. Yeah. Oh gosh.
Ostracizing our friends.
That is, it's a weird position because they're my friends, but they're also like, we're kind of decision makers sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm so sorry I made a decision that you may not have decision makers sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm so sorry I made a decision that you may not have loved.
Yeah.
Because you're my friend.
Yeah. It's not personal.
It's not personal.
But it kind of is.
But it feels personal.
Yeah.
It feels personal for me.
Yeah.
It feels personal for them.
Especially when there's feelings involved. And, you know, us women with our feelings.
Yeah. Well, even men.
Us women with our feelings.
Yeah. Well, even men. How many times have I had to have a conversation with your husband?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot. And so that's hard. I think that's hard. And I think it's also hard. This is just me. I can't turn it off. Although you're worse than me.
Yeah. Just
laying down for surgery. And she's, I just want a day to relax. But then I feel bad if I'm relaxing because I should be doing something for one of my responsibilities. Not even just co-op. That's anything in my life.
Yeah. I know somebody said that to me yesterday because I was like, oh, I have to go. They're like, do you ever stop? We were at the dance. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, yeah, but then who's going to clean up those tables and sweep things and those tables and sweep things? And
yeah. Well, the perfect situation is, so we've been talking about, we have new leaders working with us. And one of our things we do over the summer is we kind of like edit all our documents and the website and stuff that we have. And we were talking about this earlier. I am a morning person. Jenn is one of our other leaders is a morning person. And the other two are night people, and they're not morning people. So they were doing their job, editing stuff, and I was in bed. Yeah. But I wasn't asleep yet, and my phone was dinging, and I picked up the text messages, and I read it, and there was something that needed to be fixed that I knew how to fix. And I said, okay, I'm going to make a note. I'll do it in the morning when I get up. I'm going to get up later. I sent another text. I said, never mind, I'm getting up. I'm going to do it now.
I can't stop it either.
And and like one of the new leaders was like, what? Why? Do it in the morning.
No.
And then the other leader who we've been leading with a long time, she was like, I knew you were going to do that. And I'm like, I can't turn it off. Mm-hmm. I can't
either.
I edited for 30 minutes other things because I saw that, oh, let me just do this one here. Oh, let me do this while I'm here. Mm-hmm. And like, so I couldn't even like lay there and watch my crap TV show.
I can't procrastinate at all.
Yeah, it's horrible. So I wish I could turn it off.
So is there anything surprising that you've learned since being a leader of this co-op?
Yeah, it's horrible. So I wish I could turn it off.
So is there anything surprising that you've learned since being a leader of this co-op? Or did we cover that all with...
I'm trying to think.
Oh, Brittany's kind of speechless. That's a new one.
Yeah. You witnessed it, people.
Surprised about the amount of aerobics you do.
How many people are introverted in the community? I don't actually consider myself an extrovert. We haven't had this conversation, but we will in the future. But how many people are like, absolutely no way could I ever do that. I can't get up and sing that silly song or do that by making a fool of myself, but I absolutely will 100% of the time.
And you're really good at it.
Oh yeah. I will, and like
when you do that grocery shopping thing when you're doing the aerobics in the morning, it's hilarious.
Oh yeah,
I laugh every time.
Well, I am there for the jokes. Yeah, so as we've talked about this before, I do what I call like morning exercise in the morning with the kids. As we've talked about this before, I do what I call like morning exercise in the morning with the kids, and we play a song and we do exercises just to get kids' attention and to get their blood moving before we sit down and talk about the rules for the day. And it starts out with like jumping jacks, squats, and then I devolve into the robot, and then I do grocery shopping, and then
she's pushing the cart.
We have to speed shop. And and if I don't do it, the little ones in the front, like my 6-year-olds are like, we gotta go to the store. We're going to Aldi. Yeah. So yeah, it's a big hit with Jenn and the children. Yeah. I guess in my mind, like, that's a homeschooling mom's
and ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess I thought we were all like, for the sake of learning, we're going to do this. Well, your husband, though, he'll be ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
He's like me.
He is, yeah. And he's not like that with groups of adults. But when there's children involved,
I don't either. I don't grocery shop with all of you.
You don't do that? Yeah. It's just
It's not my moves when I go out dancing. Not that I go out dancing. It's not my moves when I go out dancing. Not that I go out dancing.
You did last night.
Well, there was children.
Yeah. We wobbled.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. So but yeah, I guess for my mind, like, they're kids.
Who cares, right?
They're kids, who cares, and they're gonna think it's funny, and they're gonna hold their attention instead of them devolving into chaos. It'll work, so I'm gonna do it. And your husband's the same way.
Yeah, he is pretty ridiculous, actually,
and
hilarious. I think it's funny,
but a lot of people aren't. And I guess in my mind, like, that was like that's the homeschool mom thing. I fell prey to that stereotype. Yeah, so that's why I think I ended up doing some of the jobs I do, because I tend to fall down. Although, when I do get a compatriot in that, it is fun. I have one or two where I can do mock scenes with. They're fun.
Oh, when we act out things?
Yeah, when we act things out.
I did that with you once.
Unwillingly. You should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny enough, it was about touching.
Yeah. Yeah. Keeping our hands to ourselves, to other's bodies.
Asking first before
hugging.
Yeah.
And poor Jenn got accosted by me. And then we got to debrief about why, even though she's my friend, I don't get to hug her aggressively without permission. Yeah.
You do, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. So is there anything you wish you knew before you started leading?
Oh, my gosh. Is there anything I wish I knew? I mean, I would have loved to know that COVID was going to happen.
What do we have all?
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, if we had known that was going to happen 8 months after we took the job, I might have run for the hills. Because that was horrible.
Yeah.
Making those decisions for the first year, even actually, honestly, up until like early 2022, I hated making COVID decisions because we were never going to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
Because we were never going to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
It was,
or make everybody feel safe, or
make everybody feel free, or whatever, And it was just like, it was so rough, and handling it. Yeah, I wish like somebody needs to write that book.
Maybe it'll be us someday.
Yeah, there's a pandemic. Now what do you do with your homeschool co-op? It was rough, and like there would be periods where like we were like, what are we doing? We had no input. And this is where it's tough being with your friends, because you also know where all your absolutely not.
Yeah.
We are not doing that. And I knew other friends who were like, we need to do this, this, and this until, this, and this.
The spectrum was huge.
Huge range for us. I mean, from down to, well, I mean, we are now living in a place where there's really no COVID protocols in our state. And we are basically do what works for you, and we'll respect your choices in our co-op. But at the time it was like, we had people from one end of,
I'm wearing a hazmat suit to,
I don't even know what a mask is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't own one. I'm not going to own one.
Yeah.
And I don't really care. We were trying to support that, but it's really hard when there's that range.
Right. And so, I mean, we've talked about before, we were outside for a year.
Yeah.
Because that was the compromise. And then when we went inside, not everybody was happy with our decisions. It worked out, but I wouldn't have done it for fun again. Yeah.
That was rough, right?
And it's like, for it.
Yeah.
It's like, walking into the lion's den. It's not going to go well, but you had to do it. Yeah.
All right. Is there a trait that you really hate in another co-op leader? Like, is there any traits that you would be like, I am not working with that person? That you would be like, I am not working with that person because ...
I have to answer this in a way that makes people. I love all of you that know me. So I'm gonna go with something that
doesn't insult every single person you know.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain things that are harder for me. But I think like a willingness. This is like our website, for instance, is a little bit complicated for us. We're going to continue to
definitely
use it.
The budget website.
We are on the budget website, and I'm sure all of you who run homeschool groups know which one we're talking about. And I'm not even speaking poorly of them. They do an amazing job with what they do, and we can afford them.
Exactly. For the price, it's great.
But we are not web people, and we have learned to navigate it. And we have learned to navigate it. If you are unwilling to learn to navigate the backside of the website, it would be really hard to do what we do. And I think that's it. It's just a willingness to learn the job. If you are and I respect that this is not everybody's cup of tea. So if you're like, I'm not really comfortable. Yeah. I think that's what it is. It's like we have had our rounds. Poor tech support knows our names. We have really, especially Jenn.
Call out the Bobby.
Yeah. We love you, Bobby. Woo, woo. Yeah. But like we love them. But like you have to be willing to put yourself out there and struggle with it. Because it's not intuitive at all. And we're not web people. We're not tech people. Like, we don't even edit our own podcast. My husband does, because it would take us forever. Yeah. But yeah, you have to have
then I'd have to hear my own voice. Ugh.
Yeah. You get 2 minutes of us. Hi. Yeah. I think you have to have a willingness to learn, and you have to have a willingness to learn administrative stuff like the website.
Mm-hmm. All right. What trait do you love about other leaders?
So many. I just like people's ideas. Like I like people's ability to like weigh in and go, I know, let's do it this way. Ability to like weigh in and go, I know, let's do it this way. And
do you actually like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
If I like the idea. No, I do.
This is my idea. Right?
Well, it depends. So like, I don't like people who don't understand the job saying, you should do it this way. There's a reason we don't most of the time.
Yeah.
If it's another leader, like the other four of you who understand what we're doing and understand the breadth of what we're doing, I do appreciate that, because sometimes I'm like, why don't we do it this way? And we had this happen yesterday. One leader said worried that people are going to lose them if we give them to them today, a month before this event. It was tickets. But I didn't have a good solution. And then another leader was like, why don't we do this? And I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Because sometimes you need a different brain to go, you're over-engineering this, or you're under-engineering, big picture or small picture. You know, I like that. I like when people, like I said earlier, that kind of camaraderie of like teamwork is my jam. So yeah, no, I do appreciate that about other people. And I appreciate like other skills, because like, as I always say, you don't want me to handle the money. I will melt into a puddle of goo. It is super stressful for me. I so much appreciate that our other leader, who we've been with for a long time, is such a budgeting, finance guru. She is so... doing her job would stress me out, and I wouldn't do it well. So I appreciate other people's skills. I appreciate the artistic people who are able to weigh in. One of our new leaders is very artistic, and she has really good vision and things like that, and I appreciate that about her.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah, her.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah. And then to our other new leader, she's like super good at conflict. I love that about her. Like, she's like, doesn't get ruffled. Like, you and I get ruffled when conflict happens. Like, we handle it. You can't walk around it, but it definitely, like,
I'm fine with other people's conflict. It's just anytime somebody conflicts.
It definitely, like,
I'm fine with other people's conflict. It's just anytime somebody conflicts at me.
Right. Don't conflict at Jenn. But like, I can feel my blood pressure escalating. Yeah. That kind of thing. And she's like really good at de-escalating.
Yeah. And she's just made for leadership. I just feel like she's so great at it.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm fine. I'm cool. I'm like, I was saying something to her like, oh, I know that's a tense situation. I'm sorry. And she was like, oh no, it's no big deal. Like, it's fine. I'm going to handle it like this. Like, she thinks it through and doesn't get ruffled. Like, so we need other people like that, because I know I'm a hot mess at certain things.
Yeah.
I am not. Yeah. I know I'm a control freak, but.
And it's nice to have somebody, because a lot of times I end up being have to be the bad guy.
Yeah, Jenn does.
And it's fine. But it's nice if somebody else could do it.
Right. Well, yeah.
And not come off as a bad guy. Because she will do
doesn't.
It. And, yeah. It's like hard to not like her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good life. You got to have people that balance you out.
All right. We kind of already talked about me, but what were you were most surprised about with me?
You're a crier.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, especially when it comes to kids.
Yes. When it comes to when children cry, I can't handle myself.
Yeah. She really
When
struggles.
adults are crying, I'm like, yeah.
Suck it up. Yeah.
Actually, everybody panicked that one day I cried in co-op. What do we do?
I had no idea what to do with her. Like, I was really like,
Do you want a hug?
Yeah.
No, stop. I'll cry more.
yeah. That surprised me that you were so emotional about kids. Mm-hmm. Emotional about kids. Mm-hmm. And then let's think of what else. Oh, your total reticence to handle emails is funny to me. Like, you don't like to write them and it stresses you out. But I think that's just me that's just because I'm like, because we're a lot alike in other ways. So then when I'm like, what do you mean? Like, because we're a lot alike in other ways. So then when I'm like, what do you mean? Just write an email, Jen.
I hyper critique myself.
Yes. Well, that I do know about you. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And and then like, I don't have the best grammar, and like, you are just so good at English language.
Got a fortune on that degree. Yeah. But yeah, no. I just don't think you're as bad as you think you are. So I'm always like, it's not a big deal, Jen. Just send the email.
Oh, yeah, I know. Whatever. I'm slowly getting there.
Yeah.
It's fine when I'm writing like personal emails, but to write like a big one that everybody's going to see.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, and I just never, I guess in the beginning of getting to know you, I didn't think it would divert so quickly to hilarious marriage stories. Like, even on the official co-op leaders text train, that happened this morning.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking. Not as inappropriate. Yeah, it's an inappropriate. Not as inappropriate. Yeah, it's an inappropriate marriage conversation. I mean, it's like, that's always Jen's default. No.
Well, it's funny.
Yeah,
Whatever.
It's a good time. Yeah, our poor husbands. Yeah.
All right. Can you describe our friendship in 3 words?
Snort. Also
not a word.
Yeah. Snort, mumble. Yeah, falls over dead. I would say codependent. I mean, we are. There's one. I got one. Codependent. I mean, we started doing this together because I was like, if I'm not doing it with you, I'm not doing it with anybody.
Yeah.
Codependent and ridiculous. I mean, we are ridiculous.
That's 2. Are we counting the snort and the...
Yeah. Yeah. Codependent and ridiculous. I mean, we are ridiculous.
That's 2. Are we counting the snort and the...
Yeah. Yeah. And sarcastic, because we're both we have very sarcastic sense of humor. So that's...
There we go. That's good. Do you have any useless skills?
Inappropriate rating on this, Jen. Per our earlier conversation. Yeah. Spotify.
I'm sure somebody appreciates those skills.
Yeah. Do I have useless skills? I remember ridiculous things. Like, I have they call it like an eidetic memory. Mm-hmm. And so people will be like, how did you remember that? That happened and you said this? And they're like, no, I didn't. I'm like, I don't want to be that girl, but trust me, you did, and you're going to be wrong in a minute. And it's useless stuff.
People off the wait list and intimate things about them where I'm like, how do you know that? I don't even remember their name really.
Right. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember things. And it's like from scroll email question, or from like, even if they're on social media, I'll be like, and it's not like I've cyber stalked them. Like, I'll scroll past it the one time I'm in a statewide homeschool group and I'll see the name and I'll see them asking a question, and then Jenn will be like, oh, the Smiths are next up on the waiting list. I'm like, oh yeah, they use Singapore math for math. I'm like, oh yeah, they use Singapore math for math. And she's like, okay. Cool. I have absolutely ridiculous, like, I remember the most useless things. Yeah.
All right. On a scale from 1 to 10, how was my interview?
I'm going to give you a 9.
Nice.
I expected some of those questions, but maybe not all of them.
Well, yeah, so especially since it was all supposed to be about co-op leading and surprises. And I stayed on task mostly. Yeah. We'll see what yours looks like.
Next week, it'll be fun. When I'm like going... Yeah, I did a little more avant-garde, which should shock nobody.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm a rule.
I followed the rules.
Should shock nobody.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm a rule.
I followed the rules.
Well, so I am a rule follower till a point. Jen's a rule follower till the end.
I don't know. I am to a point because I when we were doing the holy celebration.
Yeah.
I
that's
definitely
true.
hit kids in the face with them.
Unless it's going to be a real good time. Then Jen's ready to break the rules.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I'm more of a little bit like that. That's a stupid rule. I'm just not going to follow it. And you're a little bit more like, well, just follow the rules, blah, blah, blah. It's okay. Like, we rub off on each other a little bit. Because sometimes now I'm like, no, it's the rule. We should follow it. And sometimes she's like, no one's getting hurt if we don't.
I know. And, it's just funny because your kids will be like, Miss Jenn didn't follow the rules like usual. But it's always about stuff involving the kids and stupid little silly rules.
Being fun.
Yeah.
And she's actually being fun because she's breaking the rules where like...
It's not because I'm...
Yeah, being bad. She's like making the parties more fun. And so it's true. All right. Well, we'll be back next week because now it's Jen's turn to sit in the hot seat. And there will be some instant recall. I will warn you now. We're going to do a little word association.
Oh. I'm not very good with words, Brittany.
Oh, well, get ready. It's going to be fun.
They're all going to be 3-syllable.
Okay. So you have any questions for me? I guess this one was, you can keep asking me questions. You can find us at
Or something.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, and at thevillagehomeschoolers@gmail.com. And we'll be back next week, and I'm going to interview Jenn.
Okay.
Bye.